Hello, hello, everyone. Hey, Walter, how's it going? John, man, we appreciate you. Yes, sir. Hey, since I'm by myself tonight, would somebody let me know if you guys can hear me? Normally, I have other people in the chat with me or in this on this live stream, and they can, we talk so they can hear me. So, Hunter, that's a yes? Yes, you can hear me. That's good. I think that's a yes. Is that a yeah? Mm. All right. Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate it. All right, cool. So listen, so I wanted to do this as a question and answer for you guys, for especially for some new guys, because we have a lot of new people, right? And so I have a score sheet right here handy for me. And I also have our rule book, which I realize is like 6 pages long. So we're going to cut that in half. But yeah, we're going to delete some rules, maybe, so make it easier. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, so we're going to go through the rule book and the score sheet. And I hope to explain to you guys how we compete in Base Wars, because it is different probably than most of the other orgs, right? So right off the bat, I'm going to tell you how we decide what class you're in. I think that'd be a good way. So how we do that is you have a subwoofer for easy math. Actually, we're probably not going to do any math, but let's just say you've got 2 10s in your car, right? 2 10s in a car. A 10-inch subwoofer has a cone area. Cone area is the area of the circle of a 10-inch circle, in this case, a subwoofer. And at the bottom of our score sheet, and listen, just so you guys know, you can go to www.basewars.org and click on guidebook, and there's a PDF that you will be able to scroll along with me if you like. And this is kind of what it looks like once you now I'm on a computer, and you guys will probably be on a cell phone, but if you just wanted to kind of scroll along, now I won't bore you guys with all of this, but you could just track right along with me. And I think probably at the end of this is most likely a score sheet, unless I am totally lame, which I have been before. There it is, score sheet right there. So if you've not seen a score sheet before for Base Wars, you can go right there and look, but you don't have to. I may leave this up for us later for you to be able to scroll. Guess it'd be nice if I could get all this other stuff off of my screen. I don't remember exactly how to do that, and that's a little bit embarrassing. I was born on Saturday, but it wasn't last Saturday. I can't believe I didn't think about that. Anyway, I might could even blow that up for you so you could read it in case you were just looking on your phone. Yeah, that's probably a little better. All right. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go through the score sheet, and we're going to go through the rule book there, or the guidebook, as I like to call it, because we don't really have very many rules. And I will be watching for your comments if you have questions. Okay. Now, this podcast is really geared for or towards new competitors, or people that that hasn't really competed with Base Wars a whole lot. So, all right, cool deal. Look here, we got some people here. I appreciate that, Marcus, big time. I do. So let me even back up a little bit and tell you this. I have been a competitor, and most, I won't say all of my life, but I've been a competitor a lot. And so when I created Base Wars, I wanted it to be really easy for the competitors, right? So we haven't really had a lot of rules. We don't have a lot of rules. There's just not a lot to teach you here tonight. Really, the best thing to teach you is what you can compete in, and that's what we're going to start off with. So, so Base Wars, we go by cone area, as I mentioned before, that you would see on this score sheet right here. I think if I I pull up my score sheet here, I would have myself right in the way. Yeah, right there above my head. In the bottom of the score sheet of a BaseWars score sheet, you can see where we have the little chart if you don't want to do math. But so a 10-inch subwoofer right here has, if it's square, if it's round, has 78 square inches of area. So then if you come back up and you look at, let's just say this is in a trunk. So you would come here to our, guess what? Trunk classes. You can't see my cursor, but right there, the trunk classes. And if you had two of them, 2 10s would be 156 inches. So you would be in our stealth class, right? That 160 inches, let's just say, will put you in our stealth class. Now, in our stealth class, you can have up to 3,000 watts. Well, you say, well, what if I got 5,000 watts? If you have 160 inches, let's say, if your square inches, we go by that first. If that puts you in any class, but in this case, the stealth class, but you have more power than that class allows, then you get bumped up one class, right, to the boss class in this case. Now, let's just say you see the boss class taps out at 5K right here. Well, let's just say you have 160 inches. You're in the stealth class, but you have 1,000,000 watts. Let's say you have 1,000,000 watts. Okay, 10,000. Let's say you got a 10K, a 10,000 watt amplifier. You're still only in the boss class. See, here at BaseWars, we believe cone area is king, but power surely does help out. So power can bump you up one class and one class only from any class we have. Okay? So if that's clear for you guys, let me know. If it's not clear, put it in the comments and I'll try to be watching for you guys. Michael, Pete, sir, I appreciate this this comment right here. Thank you. Yeah, cool. So that's how we class people. Cone area. We class you by cone area, and we just say if you have gobs of extra power, we bump you up one class. But we know that many gobs of extra power is not going to make up for a lot of cone area, so we just say fine. It don't matter if you got 1 watt more than 3K or 1,000,000 watts more than 3K, you're still only going to boss class. Now that works the same for any of these classes that are contingent on cone area, which is our no wall classes, bandit, assassin, ninja, and warlord. Our wall classes, monster, chaos, beast, and legendary. The pro classes are not necessarily done by that. Now, our pro classes are people that peak higher than 53 hertz. So if you go to other organizations, most all of them, I think, they separate a pro and a consumer. A pro being somebody that works for a manufacturer, might work at a store. So BaseWars, we realize that just because you might work at a store, you really might not be a professional. There's plenty of stores out there that put out shoddy work. So it's just not fair for an employee that might work at a shop that says brand new. Say he just started working there. He's new. He don't know what he's doing. It's not really fair to put him in a pro category. So, but this is a reality, and this is just it's not common sense, but for a base head, it's common sense. We separate that at 53 hertz, and here's why we do that. 53 hertz frequency, 53 hertz. If you want to make the meter, if you want to win a stereo contest, the higher the frequency, the easier it is to get loud. I don't think anybody will dispute that. You can make 70 hertz, make a meter move way easier than 20 hertz, regardless of your power, regardless of your vehicle, and regardless of your box. So I think that if you're trying to make that meter move, compete solely for the meter, then you're going to be 53. I wanted that to be a little higher, but we all got together and we decided on 53. But I wanted it a little lower. But 53 hertz and above, most of you are not listening to that through your subs. Most of you are not. So 53 hertz and above is where the people that diehard competitors are. We call them professionals in what we do. And so 53 hertz and above goes to these pro classes that you're looking at. 53 hertz and below, okay, these guys, they want to get loud, and they do get loud. A lot of them do get loud, but they know that if they wanted to go to 70 and 80 hertz, they could be way louder. Not a competitor out here doesn't know that. But I hope to educate you so that you can know that. So all these classes here, no wall, you see they all have this 53 hertz cap, meaning they have a certain cone area that you can go up to. They have a certain frequency that you can go up to, that being 53 hertz. And they have a certain wattage that you can go up to. And they all are a little different. Most of them are changed by cone area and by power. So as you add more cone area, you add more power. We give you that. But on any of them, if you add more power that's in this class, you just get bumped up one class. And one class only. It don't matter how much power you add. I want to iterate that because a lot of people forget that, or they don't realize it. So I'm gonna look for some questions right quick. It won't take me 2 seconds. Hey, Jimmy. Jimmy's one of our judges. If you don't know, Jimmy Pittman, he's in the Kansas City area. Yep, Stacy, Greg. This is Greg Kelly. He's one of our judges. Ben is always with us. We appreciate you, Ben. He comes around a lot. Travis, we have a lot of longtime competitors. Once you start competing with Base Wars, most people stay with Base Wars. Now, I would say this too. A lot of times competitors get attached to a certain judge. And so if a judge leaves Base Wars and goes somewhere else, we only had that happen once. But if they did, they might go somewhere else. But then same way, the other orgs judge come to Base Wars and they bring their people too. So that's kind of how that works. But anyway, these are some of our judges. Jimmy is, he's been around with us since, I think 6 years or so. I think Greg's been with us about 4 years. We have a lot of, most of our judges stay with us. We'll have very few that leave. But okay, anyway, back to the score sheet. So what I've just told you, cone area, calculate your cone area. So let's do that again. Let me scroll up here. Let's just say you have 415s. A lot of you, 415s is a pretty common build, especially for competitors. So 415s, you see right here, if it's round, you have 176 inches. I can't do math. So can somebody in the comments do 176 times 4? And they're going to come up with somewhere around 700 square inches, right? And when they do, they'll come up with 700 square inches. Now, it'll depend if it's in a trunk of a car. That can happen if you got one of those big old donks, you know. It could be a no-wall class. It could be laid down flat on an SUV. It could be a wall in an SUV. So it could fit into either a trunk, a C-pillar class right here. It could fit into a no-wall class or a wall class. But let's just, what do you guys want? Somebody pick me one. Somebody pick a wall, no wall. Pick a type of build. Pick a format for me. And we're going to go through it. For 415, somebody say either wall, no wall, trunk, whatever you like. I'm watching the comments for somebody to type one. Come on, give us a class. Denham Springs. Devin, what are you doing in Denham Springs, sir? You're close to me. Somebody, okay, Typhoon, no wall. Okay, so now, let me back up just a step. We're going to go with this no wall right here. But before I do, I'm going to just back up because we can go through this 10 times so you guys have it well. Here's our score sheet. Here we have demo classes. I know you can't see my cursor, but I wish you could. Right here, demo classes. So those are not separated by cone area. They're separated by frequency. And then they're also separated by your type of build. Type being trunk, wall, no wall, maybe even we have some over here that we like to call extreme builds, right? But so over here, you have hurricane no wall. That's 0 to 19 hertz. That's the stuff you can't hear, but it shakes your vehicle. Those are very hard to get loud, right? So if you see a hurricane score on our top 10s, which I won't right now, but I'll point out to you later. We have top 10s on our website, and you see that those scores are lower. If you see a 150 in a hurricane, that's very, very good. It's really hard to get a higher SPL at a lower frequency, right? Harder to get a high SPL at a lower frequency. Once again, at 70 hertz, you can get a very high SPL. At 20 hertz, very difficult to get a very high SPL. So all of these demo classes are broken up by frequency. So the first ones we have is a hurricane, like the weather, 0 to 19 hertz. Then we have typhoon class, trunk, no wall. In wall, they go up a few hertz from 20 to 29. Then we have cyclone, trunk, no wall, and wall, goes from 30 hertz to 39 hertz. Then we have twister, which is 40 hertz to 53 hertz, and we cap out at 53 hertz. If you are playing your vehicle and you're playing bass at a bass competition and you're playing higher than 53 hertz, the people that are in it are mad at you. They don't like you. They're going to get out. Don't do that, right? They won't like you. Okay. So we also have let's do this mayhem. Now, Jimmy Pittman was in here earlier, and his area really likes this mayhem class. Yeah, right there. What that is, that's 1 foot outside the driver window. They put a meter 1 foot outside the window and let her rip. They turn it up loud as they can. I believe that is a 30-second class. No, 60-second class. 60 seconds, it averages your SPL score, right? All right. And then that's 1 foot outside the driver window. Now, under it, we have crowd loud. Now, that's a pretty popular class for us. That is measured 6 feet from your vehicle. It doesn't matter what window. You can do it out the front, the back, does not matter. 6 feet, we put the meter from your vehicle, right? A lot of people, you haven't seen it probably, but a lot of people will make a people wall. They'll stand in between the vehicle up into the mic, and they'll make a people wall to try to direct those sound waves to that meter to make it read louder. We have discovered, you see here on the bottom of my screen here, I got Ruthless. So Ben, he owns the Ruthless company out in California. He figured out, I think he's the one that figured out that if you put that sensor down on the ground, when you do this, when I say down on the ground, you put it on the concrete or something, and it makes it read a little higher. So that class is 6 feet from the vehicle, but there's not a height limitation. You don't have to be a certain height. So you can put it on the ground, you can put it in chest, wherever you want to, right? That's where you do that. Now, and they're broken up into trunk, no wall, and wall. A trunk build is in Bass Wars where the subwoofers are in the trunk, completely in the trunk. No part of the enclosure comes in front of that little panel that separates the trunk from the inside of the car. Now, a lot of organizations, they say, well, if you've got an amplifier in the vehicle and not in the trunk, then it's a no wall or whatnot. We don't do that. We're competing in the trunk class. I don't think where you put your amplifier is going to make you louder or not. So we don't care where you put it. So as long as all of your enclosure is behind the panel that your back seat mounts to, I guess you would call that a C-pillar in a car. As long as all of your enclosure is behind that, you can put all your amps in the front. You can put all your batteries in the front. You can take your front seats out. You can take your back seats out. We don't care. We're easy, right? But that's the requirement for a trunk. the entire enclosure and every part of it has got to be actually in the trunk. Okay. So that is our trunk classes. All right. And we have 4 of them. For every one of these different type builds, we have trunk, wall, and no wall. You will see a baby class of up to 250 or 300 inches. That is, oh, my bad. I didn't realize I still had that highlighted. That is, well, I didn't forget what I was going to say. I was looking at something else. But anyway, we have a baby class in every one of them. And so that 250 inches is geared towards new people. Okay. And as is the case with, see, Bandit and no wall and Monster. Well, Monster, that can get pretty big. We don't really have a wall class. It's a baby class. But yeah, so we don't have that. So that's why you have only 250 inches and a small amp rating. Main reason for the amp rating, and look, there's lots of people that are wanting me to raise this up to about 5K. And though I was tempted, and I am tempted sometimes because that's what the competitors want, you kind of want to give them what you can, you know, when you can. But this is geared towards the new people. And the reality is, when you go up to 5,000 watts, well, now you kind of gotta upgrade your alternator system, your batteries or something like that. So 3K is even a touch bit much for that, but it's doable if it's a legit 3K. 3K being 3,000 watts on an amplifier. So really they say up to 2,000, you can usually go on your factory system, factory battery, factory alternator. Much more than that, like this 3K, you kind of got to start thinking about upgrading your battery or add an extra battery or adding an extra alternator or a bigger alternator. So let's see here. I'm going to read a couple of questions, see if I've forgotten anything, because a lot of the guys in these comments will know this stuff better than me. I used to be all into this, and I am. Of course, I own this org, but these guys, they compete in it, you know, day in and day out, and they watch everything. Me, I come up with the class or I do whatever, and I'm on to the next thing. And so I don't even have these score sheet memorized, and it's my organization. So a lot of the guys here and this in the comments, they know this stuff really better than I do. But anyway, so point is here on the demo classes, they are separated by frequency, not by cone area. Okay. They are made for the guys that like to demo, that don't make their vehicles frequency peak at 70 hertz or whatever. We give them a choice. So, you know, if their vehicle peaks in 35 hertz, then they know that they will probably do best in a Cyclone class. And so that's why we created this. We created the demo classes for the guys that like to demo. One other difference is these classes, the demo classes, are a 30-second average instead of a peak hold. Now, here's the difference from that. A 30-second average is you play music for 30 seconds. Got to be music, not tone. And it gives you the average SPL over that 30 seconds. Whereas, say the wall classes, the no wall classes, we call them Burke classes. And those, it holds the loudest score, no matter the frequency, that you did during your SPL test. It holds the loudest one. So that's the difference in these two type classes. Okay. The trunk classes are Burke classes. Warlock, this is our only C-pillar class. For those of you that don't know what the C-pillar is, in your vehicle where you have the windshield, that is the A pillar, goes beside your dash, right? The B pillar goes at about the back of your seat, your front seats, right? And a C pillar in an SUV is about behind the back seats. For a pickup, a C pillar would be at, and it would have to be the quad cab type thing. And that would be where so your build would actually be in the bed, maybe cut with a hole cut to come into the cab and that would be a C pillar and a pickup. So that's the difference in the pillars. A pillar is by the windshield, B pillar is behind your front seat or right beside it, and C pillar is behind the next row of seats, or in a pickup, it is also behind those back seats, but right there at the bed. So our C pillar class is Warlock. It's the only one we have. It's not a very popular class. Most of the people that have C pillar builds go into these will be people that have 215s and Ford Explorer or something like that. Not a lot of people have walls and stuff, but there are a few, but they're very few. But so most of them will go into this Monster Chaos. Hard to get Beast in the C pillar, but it happens. Anyway, so that is the difference between wall, no wall, A pillar, B pillar, C pillar, whatever. But anyway, so that is our C pillar class. It is behind the second row of seats. Now let's go up here to these no wall classes. This would be an SUV, a Honda CRV. This would be, actually, this could also be a car, a sedan that has their speakers in the, not in the trunk, but up into, I hate to call it a cab, but a cabin, I guess you'd call it. So that's what the no wall class are. It could be an SUV with the speakers laid down, so not walled up, a car with the speakers in there. Yeah, so that would be our no wall classes. Our wall classes, it'd be any kind of vehicle that has a wall in it. There's C pillar walls, B pillar walls, no A pillar walls. You wouldn't be able to drive the vehicle. All right, so that's the wall and no wall, and that's the difference. Now, I'm going to talk about the wall classes in just 1 second, but I'm going to look through these comments to see if I'd missed any questions. If you guys have questions, please, right now is the time to ask. I know I'm going through this kind of fast, but it's a lot to go through, and the attention span that people have for a podcast, right? So we're going to go through as much as we can. A hatchback would basically be considered a SUV for us. There's no trunk on a hatchback, so that is a no wall. That would be a no wall build. Yep, that's a good question, though, Michael. Thank you. Let's see. Stacy and Greg can custom audio. Let's see. Yep, he's right. C pillar guys ain't loud. They can't do over about 145 from 6 feet away. But let's see. Yep, Casey's custom audio. I look forward to that. I don't run that many shows anymore, but I am going to run a show at Casey's in Philadelphia on August the 22nd, I believe. So I'll be there for that, and I look forward to it. Let's see. Would an extra cab truck and a blow-through? That's a good question, man. So this is how we do that. We actually do that blow-throughs a little differently. So in your blow-through, if your speaker enclosure is higher than your bed rail, then it's a wall. It goes into a wall build. If it is lower, if your speaker enclosure is lower than your bed rails, goes into no wall build. That's the way we do those. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. Let's see. Yeah, this is something that's very true. Now, I assure you, you come to one of the shows I'm doing. We're very laid back. And I will get up and come if I need to, look at your ride and get you in the right class. Don't even worry about it. And I'll tell you something else too. What do you think? What do you think happens if you sign up into the wrong class? What do you think happens? I mean, do you think we come and cut your arms off, beat you down, cut your neck off? What do you think? I'll tell you what we do. We don't do anything. We just move you to the class you're supposed to be. It happens pretty regular that a judge will either click something on the computer wrong and put you in the wrong class. You and the judge had a miscommunication. You went in the wrong class. I get it. The internet trolls are very good at catching mistakes. So most of the time, if you enter the wrong class, if I figure it out, I call a judge. I say, hey, this happened. So is this legit? Whatever. I kind of try to firm it up, and we'll talk to the competitor if we need to. But we just simply move you to the correct class. It's not like you get in trouble or anything, right? Now, you do it a bunch of times, we think you do it on purpose, then you're going to get in trouble, right? We're going to embarrass you somehow. Best we can. We'll embarrass you, but that's it. And so also, Greg says, true this, most other orgs, you pay money. You come up to a tent, you pay money, you get one of these score sheets, you fill it out. They put your name in the computer, and you get 30 seconds to do your SPL test. And then you leave. They let you run once. They give you another shot, I think, in case something goes wrong. And then if you need to do it again, you have to pay again. But Base Force, we don't do that. We do the same thing. You come up to the tent, you simply do the score sheet. You can do this ahead of time. It'd be better if you did. You just come pay your money, and judge marks you what class you're in, and you take the score sheet back with you and figure out where you're at. If you don't, they'll help you. But you'll have this before you get in the lane, and you will bring it and hand it to the judge. But anyway, I digress. Judge will definitely help you get into whatever class that you should be. So don't be worried about that. But then once you're there, let's just say you're trying to, when I spoke about the frequencies earlier, you may not know what your vehicle peaks at. And so let me just take a little time, give you a little education about sub enclosures, okay? And not really, but sub enclosures in conjunction with your car. So some of you may have somebody else design your speaker box. If you don't know what you're doing when it comes to speaker box design, you can pay somebody else to design a box for you, and they will give you the design, and they'll email it to you, and then you can build it. Or you can have a professional do it, like at Casey's, right? And he will either pay somebody to do a design, or he will do the design and build your box for you. But here's the thing that you need to know. Every vehicle has a resonant frequency, and that's the frequency you want your sub enclosure to be at if possible. So if you say, man, I really like 33 hertz, okay, and you get somebody to build you an enclosure that's tuned at 33 hertz, and you put it in your car, and it's not that loud on the meter. It could be because your vehicle peaks at 40 hertz. So, as you compete, you will change that enclosure to make it work with your vehicle, because most people would rather change the enclosure than change the vehicle, right? So enclosure is kind of a big deal, right? But it is only a big deal because it works together with your car, with your vehicle, your SUV or whatever. I will give you the magic number for Tahoe is about 46 hertz, depending on a lot of different things, but most Tahoes around 46. Most of you have Tahoes. A lot of you have Tahoes. So 46, 47 hertz is most of the time where you're going to be with that. David, appreciate you, sir. I'm looking at the comments to make sure I don't get behind on those. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay. So honestly, I've kind of forgotten where I was before I got off on the enclosure tangent, but that's the way the enclosures work, man. If you get a small prefab enclosure, usually those things are made with the minimum amount of airspace to fit in a certain area. Not always. If you get a prefab that is for a Tahoe, it may have more, and it may have more airspace. But if you get one from a manufacturer for their speakers, then they usually have the proper amount of airspace and port and all that stuff, you know. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on an enclosure. If anybody could help me with where I was before I did that, that would be awesome. Not, I would just skip on. Apparently, we got some big dogs at Casey's. So Casey's is in Philadelphia. We got to show up there on the 22nd. Come up there and see us, and you talk to this big dog, and he could probably build you a good enclosure. I got to ask from a customer, can one customer enter multiple vehicles? They can. One customer can enter multiple vehicles. Now, we're still going through the score sheet right now, but I'm going to just caveat for a second. You can enter more than one vehicle for sure, man. Yeah, we're business. We want to make money also. So enter as many as you like. Bring yourself an 18-wheeler full of cars. But if you want to come to finals with Base Wars, then you got to get a member number for each car, right? This is the only way we can keep track with the number of shows that you have, towards finals. So, and we're going to get into this a little later. I know we're going through the score sheet right now, but I'm going to just say that in order to come to finals in Base Wars, you got to get 5 shows in the class that you want to compete at finals in. The reason we do shows instead of points is we don't really care about points. We want you at our shows. We want camaraderie with you. We want people at our shows. That's our goal. The goal is not the money. You got to have money to stay in business. I'm gonna use me for example, so I don't say anything about my judges, but I am going to drive a vehicle up to Philadelphia, Mississippi on the 22nd. If I bring my little van, it'll be a little cheaper. If I bring my truck, it's going to cost me $150. We have to make money in order to keep Base Wars going. A business has just got to make money. And not only that, I want to be able to eat. I want to keep my lights on. This webcam I'm talking to you, these lights for this thing I got going on here, all this stuff costs money. So we have to make some money. And so you'll never hear, I hope you'll never hear me or any of my judges saying we're not making money. They're not making a lot of money. A judge is not making a lot of money, for sure. We're not making a lot of money, but we got to make some money to make sure we stay here. A business has to make money. So that being said, David tells me that I had just finished talking about the no-wall classes. All right. So let's back up to our 415 example we started earlier, because we did a trunk build. But let's say we got 415s, and I think I saw a no-wall as our format. So if we got 415s, I'm trying to be repetitive so it comes second nature to you. A 15 inch is 176 inches. Somebody I saw in the comments said if we did 415s, we had 704 inches. So let's just say we wanted to go and we're wall. Let's go no wall. Let's say we're no wall. So, all right, we had 704. Well, that looks like Ninja class is 501 inches to 950 inches. So this is the class we'd be in. And you can have up to 20,000 watts on that, in that build. This is your sub amps. Doesn't matter if you got a 20,000 watt on your door speakers. This is the amplifiers that are on your subs, okay? Subwoofers, not door speakers, not what do you call stunt walls? Not that, right? This is, this is subwoofers only. Power on subwoofers only. So you would be in this either Ninja if it's no wall, or Chaos if it was wall. And you can have up to that 20,000 watts. Now, if you have more than 20,000 watts, you bump up one class to either Beast or up to Warlord. And that's just as high as you can go up. You can only be bumped up by power one class. And so that's that. That's kind of all there is about the wall and Burke class classifications. I explained to you how our demo classes are by frequency. Now, I know what some of you are sitting there thinking. You're thinking, my God, a Cyclone wall build, I can't compete with this guy's got 1,000,000 watts and I've got 40,000. Yeah, I get it. But we got so many classes already. At some point, you got to compete against somebody else. You can't just have all the classes by yourself. So, all right. So there we are. That goes through this is the last of our Burke classes. Our Burke classes are basically formatted trunk, C-pillar, no wall, and wall. Now, these pro classes, I almost don't want to talk about these tonight because anybody that goes into these, or if you guys have a build already that belongs in one of these, then you already know who we are. You already know how to compete. Most likely, but I'm going to just touch on it, okay? Our least classes, that is a 5,000 watt class, and we use a clamp. We use a clamp for that class. And what a clamp does, it measures how much power you're sending to your speakers. So we clamp that, and once we do, you can turn your volume knob up on a tone. Hard to do on music. If you're playing a tone, meaning a certain frequency, 47 hertz, let's say, 70 hertz, whatever, one tone, and you can turn that up and you can watch the power go up 3,000, 4,000, 4,100, 4,200, get up to close to, and you got to get as close as you can without going over. That's the goal anyway. So, and we do that by using a clamp. We hook that up to your amplifier. I won't go into how to hook it up right now, but just know that these classes are clamped, and we don't clamp many classes. Most other orgs do. They clamp, but I just don't. We already have other orgs that do that, so we don't need to do it. We chose our way. We have our cone area and power together. We think it makes the most sense for what we do. So others want to compete against or other orgs want to use clamp power, which is fine. But I ask you this: if you're clamping 5,000 watts and you've got 2 10s, do you want to compete against somebody that's got 5,000 watts and 20 10s? I mean, do you want to do that? I don't think so. So I think our way is better, or else obviously, because I do it this way. So next, so that's leashed. Leashed means we got you on a leash. You can't go more than 5,000 watts. So you notice the other classes are unleashed. That means throw all the power in the world you want to. Put 1,000,000 watts on that 10-inch sub and let's watch it dance, right? We're going to see flames and it's going to be fun. And so that's what we do in the unleashed trunk, unleashed no wall, and unleashed wall. Now, a lot of people want me to come up with a leashed 10K, a leashed 20K. The loudest man in the world, name's R.P. Patel. He helped me come up with these classes. And actually, I come up with more than he suggested, but which is not a good thing, I say. But he says, look, if you've got 10K or if you've got 15K, and you've also got 5K. So he said, pick a 5K or whatever K you want, and just let that be it. And let people compete against one another rather than have a class for everybody. So that's what we did. We picked 5K. That's where we are. If you've got 10K or 20K, you also have 5K. And so And so that's how we come about these, what we would call stock classes, I guess. Not really, but not stock classes. But anyway, these are the professionals. These guys are going to peak at 70 hertz or higher than 53 anyway. They're not limited to 53 hertz. They're not limited to power on the unleashed. So these unleashed classes, when you want to see the big dog numbers, these are the ones you watch, the unleashed classes. All right, so tornado and tsunami, just like over here, we have all these demo classes right here on the left. So we have a bunch. But then over here, we have tornado and tsunami, and they are also frequency, not power rated, separated. These are separated by frequency also. These are our, let's call it pro demo classes, okay? So these are for those guys that nobody can touch because they got steel builds and all that kind of stuff, which is awesome to see and to feel, by the way, if you've not gotten into one of these. But so these two classes are for those guys. We got one that goes from 0 to 30 and 31 to 60. Now, we did not break these up into wall, no wall, and stuff like that. Once again, you just can't have too many classes. We're limited by the meter that we use. We only have so many spots to put classes in. And also, you want to compete against somebody. You don't want to be in a class by yourself every time. Crowd control is just like our crowd loud, 6 feet away, but it is for these guys. It is for the professionals. That's who this class is for. Steel builds, just extreme vehicles. Bare bones is also for them, but it is a toned down version. It is a peak hold class, but it is for somebody that's got a mostly stock vehicle, but they might have a steel enclosure or whatnot. They may have built doors. By built doors, I mean they may have a bunch of 6s or 8s, or they may have speakers, a bunch of more speakers in their door. It's not a stock door, but they got a lot of stuff built in there. So that's kind of our bare bones class. I don't think that since this podcast is geared towards beginners and new people coming into Base Wars, that I don't think many there would fit into these classes, right? So our GOAT class, that is once again a vehicle that's got this. Honestly, most of these have just been beat up and they've had to replace doors and the roof breaks, and so they've got steel everywhere or wood roofs. Now, some of these other classes you can have wood roofs too, so don't go get off on that. But they've got built seats, built raised floor, whatever, all this stuff. Those guys are not beginners. They're not new, and so they go into our pro class also, and we call that the GOAT. And then the extreme death match is the same thing as our death match, which I don't think I mentioned earlier, but that's a 3-minute average class, 3 whole minutes. You better have a good battery, or you better be smart enough not to turn yours all the way up. And let me digress just for a moment, okay? When you have a full battery, I'm going to just say, just for those, assuming that most of the people watching are new, you know that you have a 12-volt battery in your car. But let's even say 14 volts, because that's what alternators charge at, 14 and some change. All right. When you turn that stereo up, your amplifier is rated to work between a certain voltage range. Most of them are 16 down to about 10. In the old days, when you drop voltage, your amp blew up. I'll tell you why in just a second. But my point with this is, as your voltage in your car at 14.6, let's say, factory, when you turn that stereo up and you got all this power, that voltage is coming down. When voltage comes down, current goes up. So your amplifier, you look on a fuse rating, it'll say, okay, 100 amp fuse, right, that it's got to have. Well, that's at a certain voltage. So if it's got to have a 100 amp fuse at, say, 12 volts, but for easy, let's just say 14 volts. As that voltage comes down, the current draw on that amplifier goes up, and it'll go up more than your 100 amp. And when it goes up more than your 100 amp, your fuse is going to blow. All right. If your fuse blows, you're lucky because you don't have to buy a new amplifier. There are some people don't want to deal with a fuse. They take the fuse out, just power wire straight to the amplifier. Now, all right, as your amperage goes up, your voltage goes down. That's the way it works. If you could have 100 volts, your amperage would be low and your amplifiers would love you forever. But as that voltage comes down, amperage goes up, and amperage kills. So amperage goes up, kill your amplifier. Now you got to buy a new amplifier. So these guys during deathmatch, when you play your vehicle for 3 minutes wide open, depending on your system, that's hard to do. That's hard to do. So often these vehicles will let out smoke during these tests. Now, I haven't even touched on is your speakers going to get hot or not. You're going to see some smoke. You're going to smell some. When you smell a speaker that's too hot, you smell the glue burning, right? On the voice coil. Most people will kind of turn it down when that happens. But if you're in this contest, some people get excited. They just keep going. They don't do that. And then they wind up having to replace a $1,500 sub, you know? But so anyway, that's what the extreme match is. You play music for 3 minutes straight. So this is the extreme death match is for the extreme vehicles that's steel built, got, you know, they're not like your normal everyday driver. The one over here on the left under the demo classes, that is for an everyday driver. And so that's the difference between those. Okay, let's see. All right, Bullseye over here under fun classes. Bullseye, what we do is we pick a number. Say we pick an SPL, say 135, just for easy speak. And then what you do is you have to play music, and you have to make, and this test is done on a 30-second average, but you have to play that, and you get as close to 135 as you can. Now, when I say 135, the judge that morning will pick that number for you. He might pick 135 today. He might pick 132.6 the next time. You don't know. And so when you look at our results, and I'll tell you about where we put our results a little later, but when you look at the results and you see that low score, it don't mean that car is only that loud. It just means that he's targeting a number that the judge chose, right? But so over 30 seconds playing music, you have to turn the knob and get as close to whatever the number is that the judge picked. And that's what Bullseye is. And it is also head-to-head, one against another, if the judge has two sensors. That's what that class is designed for. If the judge doesn't, then this guy may go and then the next guy may go. They may not go at the exact same time, but it is designed to be head-to-head. And by the way, let me tell you that we use a meter. It's called TermLab. It's called TermLab, and there is a box, an interface that plugs to the computer, and then there is a sensor that goes from that box to what some people will call the mic, but it's a sensor. It's an SPL sensor, and so that sensor is what goes in your car. So I guess I forgot to tell you about the simple stuff, but anyway, that's how that works. And so that's the Bullseye class. Port Wars, if you have a ported enclosure, you can put that sensor into the center of that port or somewhere in that port, wherever you like, and you play it loud and you'll get a much bigger number. You will look like a Mac Daddy. I mean, a total Mac Daddy on the results page. You'll be sitting there at 170, and the dude over here that's got $1 million in his build with 418s and a steel, you'll have a higher score than him. Now, everybody knows that if it says Port Wars, most people don't really count it, but it is a lot of fun for the people at the shows. Most of the time when one person enters Port Wars, you can just expect 5 or 6 more because it's just fun, and others will do it. And it is not always the ones will win that you think win. A lot of times it is these little guys in these prefab boxes that win. A big build with a big port, not going to win Port Wars. Somebody with 215s and a little bit too small of a port, probably going to win that. You know. But anyway, that's Port Wars. Let me get a drink here. Our old school class, normally we have other people talking on here. I usually just nod my head and smile, but I wind up talking tonight. So our old school class, what that is a nod to the way competing was back when competing was great. Hey, Dawson was one of the guys that was around back when we started Base Wars. Hadn't seen him in a minute. I'm gonna just glance at the just for a second at the comments and see if I've maybe missed I don't think I have. I don't think I've missed any questions there. Okay. Clear rules for Bullseye. Let's see. Class is starting to take off in the Pacific. Bullseye, we just spoke about it. I'm going to speak about it again, just for you, sir. James is our judge in Oregon. So Bullseye class, the judge picks a number. I'm going to compare us to other orgs right now. Other orgs, I believe, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure other orgs have a 130, a 135, I don't know what, but they have a specific SPL classes for their version of Bullseye, and I don't know what they're called. But to me, I thought to myself, that would seem like it would be pretty easy to cheat, because you could have a volume knob set at whatever. If it's even a knob, it could be a button. So you could just say, okay, it needs to be on 25. And then I go push this and I play this song, and that's going to be my SPL there. So I didn't want to have just one SPL for people to be able to do that. So that's why I say our judge just picks it that morning, and everybody targets what score the judge says. So they actually have to do the work to put themselves in that spot. All right. So the way this works is the judge picks a number. Let's say the judge, and if the judge is smart, he won't pick a number that's like 150, because you got to average it for 30 seconds for one thing. And two, if you pick 150 or 160, then you knock out all the little guys that can't even do that score. And that's not really the point of this class. So a judge will pick 130, 132, 137. 137 probably high for the class. But anyway, whatever the number the judge picks, you play music, and you try to get as close to that number as you can without going over. And that's what that class is. So when you look on the results tab or graphic that I make, and I'll show you those in a little while, and you see 132, don't mean those cars only do 132. Just they're close to getting as close as they can to the score that the judge gave them that day. And so that is the Bullseye class. All right. Now, the Baby Boomer SPL, that is for the kids, little Hot Wheels type stuff. And that is a peak hold. And I'm going to say this again. We have some classes that average, 30-second average, like for all these demo classes, except for the death matches are 3 minutes. But so an average class, usually 30 seconds, but you have average, and then you have peak hold. Peak hold means in 30 seconds, it holds the highest SPL that it finds. Sometimes for some people, it's embarrassing, but sometimes it is when they close the door really hard. You know, if you're playing a very low frequency, if you're competing in Hurricane Wall over here, the loudest thing we hear might be a rattle inside your vehicle. You know, so yeah, so there's that. But yeah, So anyway, Baby Boomer SPL is for like the little Hot Wheels. I don't know what you call us. We call them Hot Wheels, but they're not Hot Wheels. But, little kids ride them. The little Power Wheels, I think you call them. Iron Horse is our motorcycle class. That'd be a motorcycle, golf cart, side by side. We have those. They compete with us sometimes. That's what the Iron Horse is, and it's a peak hold thing. So let's come on down here to Demo Wars. Now, I wish Greg was on here tonight because I don't know a whole lot about the Demo Wars. Greg came up with those for us. But basically what this is, there's different classes. Please don't make me go through that. Well, I have it right here. It has here the number of speakers you're allotted. This does not include your subwoofers. So this is where we pick 3 judges. The judges walk around the vehicle, right? And you play music for a minute. Whatever music you like, as long as it doesn't cuss. If it cusses or it's got some kind of sexual innuendo and the kids around, then you get axed. You get disqualified. All right. But otherwise, the 3 judges will walk around the vehicle and listen, and they're listening for how good it sounds. And let's just say, and they're listening for a 360 sound. So a lot of these people put speakers in their grill. And if you're walking around a vehicle, as you walk past that front door, where that front door is open, when you walk past that, a lot of vehicles have a void right there because they've not gotten to the front grill yet where there might be some speakers. So people will do what they can do to make you hear the sound completely 360 around the vehicle. And that's kind of what they're looking for. Now, I believe as those, let's just say those were equal, right? So everybody had what they needed. I think then the judges would go for which one's the loudest after that, most impressive as a demo bill, right? So these are separated by number of speakers, not including subs. And we call them welfare. Like if you poor, you don't have many speakers. That's like a stock cabin or whatnot. And if you work in the mail room, well, you're bottom of the barrel kind of thing. But then if you're a blue collar worker, we stepped it on up to where, like, if you're a CEO, you're the big dog, you got unlimited speakers, right? Because you got unlimited money kind of thing. Then there is a kids. I assume that's for the Greg created this. Read us that soon. That would be for the Power Wheels type thing, or yeah, I'm assuming that's what that's about. And we have a motorcycles class, same thing, done the same way. So the way it works is the judges have 2 chips, usually a red and a black, but depends on the judge or whatever color he wants. So you walk around, you mark one car, the car's perspective color, a red car, black car, you mark it with whatever you like, Coke can, whatever. But and so the judges have each chip, and if say we got a red car and a black car, now the judge, if they like the red car, they'll put a red chip in. If they like the black car, they'll put a black chip in. There's only 3 judges, so there's no ties. So each judge puts a chip in, you open the box, and how many, and you see who won. At that point, the loser backs away, and the other person in the class pulls up, and they go again, kind of deal. Let's see here. I don't know. Lots of people do put vehicles there, and they can legally drive. Yeah. So, but once again, this is just for competition in the middle of a field. Not that these guys are going to be driving them all around the, but like Greg Kelly's, he drives his everywhere, Okay. So, all right. So that is our demo wars. That's what our demo wars are. Now, you're going to see soon, we're starting to do a lot of Jeep shows using the demo. So if you see base wars at a Jeep show, we're most likely doing demo wars, right? And also, we've got a little something going on with Harley Davidson. So you'll see base wars at some Harley shops, and they will be demo, our version of demo wars. Yeah. Okay. So back here at the bottom, it says judged classes. Lit, that's our LED class. Now, this has to be done at a nighttime show for the most part or inside. So we don't do a lot of those. Demo Dominator, that is if somebody enters the Demo Dominator class, the judge will pick 3 judges against just like Demo Wars, except the judge will send people to the people that have entered that class. But when they walk up on them, the judges walk up on the person that's in that class. They don't know that they're a judge. So I might walk up to, let's say I walk up to Doug Main right here. So I walk up to Doug. Doug's entered into the Demo Dominator class, and I'm a judge. He don't know I'm a judge, but if I walk up to Doug and say, Doug, can I get a demo? If Doug gives me a demo, then I rate that demo from 0 to 100. And I go back and tell the judge. If Doug tells me, no, I can't have a demo, he don't like the fact that I don't have hair, then I go back and give the score 0 to the judge, right? If Doug tells me, hey, man, it's hot, need to cool off. Okay, I leave. So I come back an hour later. Doug, can I have a demo? He says, no, man, it's too cold. I can't give you a demo now. After the second time, then I go give Doug a score of a 0 or whatever. There's 3 judges, and we average the score, and the best man wins in that class. And that's the way that works. Now, let's look at Doug's actual class. Fun judging Demo Wars. I hope to get that. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's fun. I love to judge them. That's always a good time. We love to walk around the cars and listen to them, man. You'd be amazed how good some of these things sound. All right. Showtime right here. This is Base Wars car show. And so I hope I have, yeah, okay. I am not going to go through all of this, okay? But so this is a car show that Base Wars runs. It is just a car show. There's all the different classes. If you'll notice, the reason some of this is called Best Boot, so that would be the best trunk. The reason you might notice a little language difference here is because our judges in South Africa come up with these for us. They designed this for us. So you might notice a little difference in the like boot. We call it a trunk. But anyway, when it's all said and done, all these classes have scores, right? Here is the score sheet for that. But anyway, after it's all said and done, these score sheets get brought back up to this score sheet because you hand this in to the judge after you run, and then your points get recorded over here. And then the judge calls out the winner at the end of the evening, kind of thing. All right, so now that is the score sheet. Now, that's all of our classes. Are there any questions whatsoever on our classes? I would love to be able to clarify any question you might have right now on that. I would love it. I would like for you to leave this podcast or watch this video later and have 0 questions about that score sheet right there. So, all right. I'm not seeing any, and I'll check back in just a minute. So now I'm going to tell you some things. When you get a score sheet at a Base Wars tent, see these QR codes right here? That will take you to our rule book, which is simply what I'm scrolling right now on the website. This kicker contest is not up and going right now, but I believe that right there would take you to Kicker Speakers website. Kicker sponsors us a lot. I've always ran Kicker Speakers. I've been with them since I was 11, 12 years old. So that's why I have Kicker on everything. They give me permission to put Kicker on everything. They help us with our tents. They help us with awards. Kicker really helps Base Wars, and we appreciate it. So that's why I have Kicker branded most everything. Now, we have some other people that help us too. You see all these on this live stream right here. You see the different logos here. These are all people that kind of help Base Wars, right? Some more than others, but all these people have contributed to helping Base Wars grow a little bit. Some a lot, some a little, but we appreciate them no matter what size they helped us, no matter how much money they gave us or what they gave us. We appreciate them for helping us. Base Wars, and I don't want to say that we're small, but we're not big business. This got started in Mississippi. It's still running in Mississippi. We've grown pretty well up in the East Coast. Greg Kelly has really helped grow his side. Jimmy Pittman's working on his in the middle. Out on the East Coast, West Coast, we got Richard out there. And Richard's a busy guy. He actually works for NASA. We have a NASA guy, and I'm proud to say that he works with us, and that's cool, right? But he's a busy guy, so he covers a lot of area up and down the West Coast. We got James Courtney that was in here earlier. He's Oregon and starting to do a little Washington, and we need some judges in Texas. I think we got us an Arkansas guy coming. So we got some spots. So let me just point a couple things out to you right quick. Let me pull up another screen. And if you come right here, I'll update this soon, but if you come right here to franchises, this is a Google map, but so here is everywhere that we are. I probably do need to freshen this up a little bit, but and you can see also all these blue spots is places that we would like to have a judge. So if you're in any of these locations and you would want to be a judge, then that would be awesome with us, right? I think we may have the Arkansas one taken care of, and I'm not sure, but I think we may have a New York guy also. Not positive about that, but anyway, everybody's asking us to come, but we just don't have people everywhere. So that's kind of a scoop on that. So, all right, right. This is a saying. I'm a kicker fan. I've been a kicker my whole life. And I always say real men run kicker just because I like to mess with people. I don't think kicker likes if I say that a whole lot, but kind of fun to me. Let's see. Yeah, Dawson is right. So we started with 3 or 4 of us guys doing meet and greets, and it has just gone from there. It never was planned to be a business, and there's some problems with that, but I try to keep them problems hidden as best I can. But yeah, that's true. It's come a long way. Okay, so the score sheet is, I think we've done that. So I would like to say this. It costs $30 to run Base Wars. It costs $30 for you to enter Base Wars. Free reruns. Don't know if I mentioned that earlier. I think I started talking about it and then I didn't do it, didn't finish it. But so if you pay your $30 and you come to the tent, we're going to run you to your heart's content for the most part, unless we have a big line. And if we have a big line, we might run you a few times, help you figure out your resonant frequency. That's actually what I got off on earlier when I was telling you about your resonant frequency of your vehicle in your box. So at some point, you got to figure out what the resonant vehicle is of your car or your vehicle with your enclosure. And so you'll figure that out. You can't do that really without a meter. And most of you don't have a meter. So we let you sit there. We'll do your run or two. I'll tell you this. If you don't know, find yourself what's called a sine sweep from 20 hertz to 50 hertz. It's probably good. 53 hertz, because any more than that, but you won't find that on YouTube. It'll be something else. But find yourself a sine sweep, and it'd be good if you found one that didn't take longer than 30 seconds. So the track is less than 30 seconds. What happens is you'll play that, and that is, it'll play 20 hertz, 21, 22, 23. It'll play all the frequencies in between whatever range you find from, say, 20 to 50 would be ideal for us. And the meter on peak hold will hold what frequency it's the loudest at. And once you figure out that frequency, you don't have to do this at full volume, but you do have to do it at a pretty good volume, but don't have to be full volume. once you figure out what your vehicle peaks at, then you cut it off. Then you get ready, you do it again. So then you go find a track that has just that frequency, and you burp that frequency as loud as you can, quick, fast, and in a hurry, because your voltage, that whole voltage thing I talked about earlier, you're going to hit that thing, that one frequency that you're loudest at, as loud as you can immediately with all the voltage you have. And that's how you'll get your best score. So, yeah. So signal sweep to find your frequency, and then hammer your frequency on the next run. And we will sit there and help you find that frequency, right? Now, then you can run a few times after that, most of the time. Now, if we got a big old line of cars, they might tell you, hey, man, you got to leave. You can get in the line and come back. And let's say you run at 9 in the morning and you say, man, you know what? I think I can do better. And you figured something out or whatnot. And then you get back in the line, come back in. It doesn't cost you any more. Doesn't cost you a thing more. If you run a different class, so let's say you're going to run a Burke class. Nearly everybody runs a Burke class. Most everybody runs a Burke class. And then you say, okay, well, I also want to do a demo class, or I also want to do Port Wars. So your first class will be $30, whatever it is. If you choose another class, well, that one's only $20, right? And if you choose a third class, well, that one's $20. And you could run every one of these. You could spend $100, $150 sitting there in that lane if you want to. You're right. But just know that the first class costs $30 and the classes after that are $20. And that's all I have to say really about that. Memberships. If you are new to Base Wars and you're not going to be able to get 5 shows in before finals, no point in becoming a member. Don't do it. Our membership resets every year after our finals, and our finals are every year in the first week in October. So you have to have 5 shows in the class that you want to compete at finals in to be at our, to come to our finals and compete at our finals. Not that you shouldn't come to our finals, because most every judge runs what they call a kickoff show the same day. So they'll run finals and then they'll kick another show off after they close that out. And then they'll run a kickoff show and you can compete there, even if you're not in finals. But the point is, we're not trying to money grab, but it will do you no good to become a member right now if you're not going to be able to compete in our finals in October. If you can't get 5 shows in, don't spend your money. If you think you can, spend your money and spend it fast, okay? Because you don't have much time. But it don't matter if it is an annual membership, but the point is it resets every year after finals. So if I wouldn't let you, but if you became a member the day before finals, the day of finals, when finals are over, then your membership's no good anymore. So you pay $30 to be a member for 12 hours or 24 hours. Don't do that. No point. Keep your money. But after finals, then, or I'm sure at some point in time, we have a store, it's on the website, and I'll say, okay, 2027 membership, you can buy it now, kind of thing. But it wouldn't go. So even if you did buy it earlier, it wouldn't go into effect until, after October. So yeah. So don't buy that thinking just don't waste your money. It offers you nothing. A lot of orgs, they give you a discount for, like, instead of $30, it'll be $25 if you had a membership. We don't do that. So no point in you buying a membership if you're not coming to finals. So, all right. Now I'm looking over this score sheet here. I don't see anything that I haven't gone over. Is there anything that you guys would like for me to talk about the score sheet? Do you have any questions whatsoever? I'm looking, but I don't really see any, which is good. That means I covered it well. Yep, I will say this too, right here in Philadelphia, Mississippi. We will eventually find a base wars judge there in the area, but for now, I'll be doing that. And so if you're coming to Casey's, I will be seeing you. We scheduled a year in advance the other night. So we got 6 or 7 every 2 months. Every 2 months, we're going to be there. Yeah. So let me just tell you guys, for the new people, the way we do our finals. Now, not every area has finals, but a lot of areas do. We don't all have to go to the same spot. What we do is, I'm using a certain software right here, right now, to show you this stuff on, and we're using another software to broadcast it to Facebook and to YouTube and stuff like that. So, that being said, what we do for finals is we can't take in a bunch of streams, but each judge runs a finals in their area for the most part. Some of the judges have to combine because we can only take so many streams, right? Bandwidth wise, internet wise, so you won't have to go to Kansas to finals. You won't have to go to Miami for finals. You might not be able to stay right in your area for finals. You might have to go to Mobile, or you might have to go to Tennessee, or you might have to go to Kansas. It depends on where you are. Point is, you can go to any one of them you want to. So, and so what we do is the judges put up webcams on their tents, and I sit here and basically produce a TV show for you guys. And so if we see some action happening in Florida, I do something like what I'm about to do right now. I'm going to just cut to this video just to kind of show you. But I would do this right here, except the video I'm fixing to show you will be, we would be, not this video, it would be the live stream in, let's say, Tampa. And so I would just merge over. AudioSellers.com website. These guys are advertising with us. We are trying to bring some awareness to their website. So if you wouldn't mind, go to AudioSellers.com and look over this website. So and I just change from one screen to the other, and then I'll create, like we got 4 screens at once. Sitting and watching on the computer is probably pretty boring, but when there's not much going on, and you can't hear how loud it is, so it's a little bit of a struggle. But anyway, that's how we do our finals. So you wouldn't have to go to Kentucky. You might be able to compete right here in Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Ohio. So in other words, you just don't have to travel across the country. You might have to travel some. I'm not saying that you can have the finals in your back door, right, at your local spot. Not saying that, because we just don't have enough. This software, I think I can only take 8 streams. So even when I multi that, I have to okay, you can have one judge. I have finals from 8 a.m. to noon, and he's got to cut off. And then I pick another judge up from noon to 3 or 4, and we stagger them that way. So we do the best we can to have for you not to have to travel. But at the same time, you want enough people there to make it something a little bit special. This is probably not the one. This is, I can't remember, but I think this is like what we give away at finals. I think this is one of them. Is that, it's got some green in it, and this green screen that makes it look clear. But anyway, we give a ring away. That's our first place finals. And I hand make our other awards. I hadn't done them yet for this year. But so anyway, that's the scoop on how we do our finals. Man, we are, I should have broke this up. We're an hour and a half, and I just got over the score sheet. We hadn't even looked at the rule book. All right, so I'm going to just run through this. I hope some new guys are here. I know that most of the guys know that compete with us. They know all this already. Pretty much, I'm going to just summarize this. Okay. Other than Demo Wars, if you're in Demo Wars and you play something with bad music, they will disqualify you. You're out, right? We ain't mad at you, but your run didn't count and you lose that round, and so you're out. Other than that, there's no way to get disqualified in Base Wars. There's no way. If you mess up your run, we'll let you do it again. If something goes wrong, just go fix it and come back. There's no way to get disqualified in Base Wars except during Demo Wars. All right. The only way you can really get kicked out of Base Wars is to get out of line with the judge. Is to cuss him, do whatever. Get out of line with the judge and you're gone. That's it. That's the only way that I can think of, and I wrote this rule book. It's the only way I can think of that you can get kicked out of Base Wars. Let's see. All right. SPL sensor. I explained to you what the sensor is. We use the term lab interface, hooks to the computer, then in between, then it leaves the interface into a sensor. That sensor is what we call the mic. Now, that sensor has got to be placed in front of the front seat location. The reason we say location is you can take your front seats out, but it's got to be in front of the front seat location, meaning the seat part too. So it's got to be somewhere up close to the firewall, somewhat close to the firewall, in front of where the front seat would be. And this is why. If we hand you the sensor and you can put it wherever you like. You can put it on the glass. You can put it in the kick panel. You can put it in the console. Can't put it in console rib, but you can put it in glove box, whatever. But this is why we do that. If we didn't, and we say, here, put it where you like, this seat, if this chair is, say, your driver's seat, and you put that sensor right here and you have a B-pillar wall, you could just about be playing Port Wars while everybody else is not, and that's not fair. So we say to you, you take the sensor and put it anywhere in front of your front seat location, meaning where it would have been if it's there, or in front of it, including the seat bottom, and put it where you like. Do you? And that's kind of how come we do it that way. Sensor's got to go in front of the front seat location. Other than that, we don't care where you put it. We will watch for, I'm going to educate you, sound pressure, along with a lot of other pressures. You take a big spot, speaker box, room, and you play loud, and the smaller crevice, closet, that's the pressure will be more, right? So we'll watch for, if you build a box inside your car to put that sensor in, you ain't doing that. We're not going to let you do that. If you build a little cup, something to hold in there, fine. As long as it don't come out halfway past the sensor. But most people don't do that. But yeah, so just know that we are aware of those kind of things happen. We kind of created a lot of that stuff, to be honest with you. So, but you can't do that. So there's that. And that's our rule for the sensor. Let's see. Yeah. All right. I told you guys about the membership. Membership costs $30, by the way. What does it take to participate in finals? 5 shows in the class that you want to compete in. So if you want to compete in 2 classes, you got to have 5 entries. You know what? Let me back up a little bit, because I got caught on this a couple years ago. Actually, I didn't caught. The competitor got caught. It wasn't fair to him. We had a communication we didn't communicate well. When you compete in Base Wars, you buy this score sheet, you give the judge the money, and then you make your run on the meter, right? For 1 class or 2 classes, however many you choose, okay? That gives us scores for you. So when I go look later, are you qualified for finals? And I see, okay, yep, he's got 5 in this, he's got 5 in that. Okay. That's the way it needs to be. Let me tell you what happened. Not the guy's fault, not my fault either. And we were talking about this ahead of time, but it didn't click for me exactly what had gone down. So what this guy did is he went and he bought his score sheet. He paid his money to compete in Base Wars. And he had this big demo build. And so he couldn't get out and come into the lane and put up a score. Okay, fine. He bought his score sheet. I'm assuming the judge handed him his score sheet, and that's the way it does. So this guy thought he wasn't wrong, just a little miscommunication. He thought he had paid for 5 shows and that he was good for finals. So he calls me, and I'm looking at his scores, and I'm like, man, you ain't got but 1 score in this class and 2 in this one. I mean, what? He's like, no, I got all these. And I'm sitting there thinking, I can't help you, man. I mean, you got no scores. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, But he all along had bought his scores, but since he didn't put it up on the meter, I didn't know it. And so it became, they trashed me online for not letting him come to finals and stuff like that. It didn't click on me at the time that he was saying he purchased it, but he didn't run, right? So I'm pointing out to you guys that when you purchase it, you have to run. It's got to be a score in the computer for you, because I have no way to go look where you have run if there ain't a score there. I just don't know. So you have to have 5 scores recorded in the computer with your member number and your name in order for me to qualify you for finals. That's all it is. I don't care what place. We don't care what place. You can get last place at every one of them. You can get the only place at every one of them. Like I said, it's not a money thing for us. We want you at our shows. That's what we want. We want you to be part of us. We want you at our shows having a good time, demo and doing whatever you do, cooking hot dogs and corn dogs and stuff, and that's what we want. So there's that. So that's what it takes to participate in finals. I've told you already where finals are. They're kind of all over. They're not in every little area. Some of the areas have to combine. We just can't take a stream from every single judge. I can't do it. We don't have computer and internet power to make it happen. All right. So I'm just going to scan these questions. I don't see any questions on the live stream. So what if you have a built center console for mids? No problem. We don't count mids. Yeah. All right. The Demo Wars finals. Now, if you do Demo Wars, Greg Kelly right here created those for us. Those are held in his area. That finals is in Tennessee, somewhere right around Newport, Tennessee. So that's the only one that you have to travel for. And I'll even tell you why you have to travel for that. That is subjective. That's a subjective class, kind of like sound quality. It kind of is sound quality, but you can't have one set of judges in Texas and one in Tennessee and one set in Florida. You got to have the same judges judge these vehicles. So you all got to be in the same spot, or else you just don't have a finals. Now you say, man, that sucks. And it does suck, but I will tell you this. I have told every judge, and I hope every judge does, to run what they would call a regional. Most judges name their area, right? It might be, I don't know what they're all called. One of them, whatever. They have a Greater Mountain, Base Wars. They all have their own little things. So I asked the judges to run a regional for each one of them before finals. So you can be big dog in your area, but you might not be big dog nationwide, but you might be. But I'm just saying, you'll have a finals for your area. That's what I hope the regional is. And then we have our finals, and so that's That's unfortunate that you have to travel for the demo awards, but you can only have one judge, you know, or one set of judges for something that is subjective. If you don't, then you don't have a finals. You just can't happen. I'm gonna save the team membership thing. I got a really big to do coming on that soon. Just not the best time to talk about that. World records. We do have world records. I am going to show you some of them right now. I think, nope, wrong one. Let me see here. Yeah, here we go. World records. So this is our world records right now. So we keep these on the website, and this is the loudest we have that went for a world record in these classes. And this is on basewars.org, www.basewars.org. So to do this class, to go for a world finals, you have to pay $50. The reason you have to pay $50, we make you a nice plaque mailed to you. All right. So there's that. But you have to be registered for finals, and you have to be, and it can only be done at finals. You don't do world records at a little local show. You do it at finals, and that's the only one time a year you can do them. And then after you do them, if you take the top spot, you stay on here until the next year. You know, you don't lose your spot when somebody in Timbuktu, Arizona makes a score better than yours. You have to actually go for this at finals. And so that's our world records. That's how they work. How do you register to run in Base Wars? You go to the tent. You go to the Base Wars tent. You say, hey, I need a score sheet. The judge is going to say how many classes you want to run. You'll tell him, he'll tell you, okay, give me $50 or give me $30 or whatever it is. He will take your money. He will hand you a score sheet. He'll probably ask, do you know what class you want to be in? Or he will help you pick out what you need to be. You take your score sheet back to your car and you drive up to the lane whenever you get ready. And then you do your SPL test and then you drive out. And the judges will help you in a bunch of, in any way they can. So it is really that simple. That's how you run in Base Wars. Can I repeat my SPL test? Yeah, free reruns. We do that. Well, there's a bunch of reasons we do that. But anyway, like I said, the only time that's not the case, that you can't just sit there and rerun, is we've got a big line. We got to get you out so we can get others in. You know, most of the time, if I run a show, every judge does it different. But if I run a show, I will cut off free reruns an hour or two early to make sure people that haven't run yet can get in there. Okay, so let's see here. What is my award and how do I get it? We give, can't believe I don't have any up here, but we just give little tag plate awards, little plastic tag plate awards for our awards. There's reasons for that. We used to do plaques. They got too expensive. Like the cool plaques that you would get at a fancy show now, that used to be our normal everyday award. So then I went to some metal tag plates, sublimated, nice tag plates. Two things happened. One, they went astronomically high. When I first started buying them, they was $1.86. The last time I bought them, they was $9.86, something like that. That much difference. And then I still had to make them. Base Wars grew, and I just couldn't sit there and press plates all day, every day. All of us work extra jobs. Base Wars is not a primary income for any judge or me. So we had to change. And so also the tag plates, the metal ones, in the corners where they cut the corners to make them round, they're jagged on the back. So this guy had a really nice, it was a show car, not really a base rig. He laid that tag plate down on his hood, taking pictures and stuff. When we went to pick it up, he didn't just lift it straight. Anyway, he scratched the crap out of his hood. So we just decided to go with the plastic ones. We needed to do it anyway because I had to order them because I just couldn't stand there and press plates. I just can't keep up with the number of awards that we need. Doing it myself, couldn't do it. So, okay, how do you get points? So, okay, you don't even really need points for Base Wars. So you might ask, why do we keep up with points? First of all, you might not even know that we keep up with points, but the reason we keep up with points is I keep up with them, you don't, is coming soon, and I'll go over all this in a little bit. There's going to be a website come to where those points that you acquire will be credits or dollars towards a product that might be on our website for sale. So that's why we keep up with points. But you don't even see them right now. Now, once we get that open, you will see them. But for right now, you don't see them. Okay, can I use another vehicle to acquire points? Yes, you can. Let's see. If a competitor changes their build in the middle of the season, they would have to start over acquiring points. We don't think that's something that you should have to do. You should be penalized for getting a nicer car. So basically, you have to have 2 shows before finals with your new ride and the system in it to come to finals. Let's see. I told you guys how we did blow-throughs earlier. A stock cabin that doesn't even really matter, but it's just factory panels. You can have Deadner in it behind them, but you got to have your factory panels. We talked about the mic traps. That's what I was talking about. If you build something to put the sensor in, it can't come out past the sensor. Can't come out past the sensor. Can't cut the sensor. That's what we call a mic trap, because if it does, you're creating that smaller space right there, and that'll make the SPI higher. And it really does make a difference. So anyway, we had to stop that because people were making like solid enclosures and putting the top on the thing and basically putting it inside a speaker box or inside a box. Can't do that. All right. I don't remember us talking about hot seat. So hot seat should be on our score sheet. I can't believe I missed that. That should have been in our demo. Let me just go on up here. Trying to find the score sheet. Bear with me. Yeah, okay, my bad. There it is. I just skipped over them, I think, when we were doing going over the demo classes. So hot seat, what that is it's a demo class, and that is where a person sits in the hot seat. And the hot seat of a vehicle is whichever seat is the loudest, right? So in the hot seat class, a person will sit there and hold the sensor chest high, face whichever way they want. Doesn't matter to us. And hope that they can stay in there for the whole run. It's a 30-second average. Yeah. So they sit here and they hold the sensor kind of like this. They can't hold it back here. They can't turn like they're sitting in the seat and they're just holding the sensor. That's the way it's done. Doesn't matter if they face it towards them or the other way. It doesn't matter to us. But so that's the scoop on that. Now the big thing is, if your big build is, can you find somebody that can take sitting in your ride that long? So, all right, let's see here. This is all the classes. We went through those. Here are better examples of the classes in this guidebook if you want to read those. I probably missed several things. So let's see here. Team membership. We're not talking. Well, I'll tell you about the team thing. I'll tell you about this team thing. We got some new team stuff coming out real soon. And but if you're on a team, if you're on an audio team, that team can pay an amount of money to Base Wars, and then the teams compete against one another. The way that works is when a person signs up for the membership, I send them a link, or the judge, wherever they sign up, they get a link of a form to fill out. It's a Google form. I hate to tell you this because this is going to change really soon. But anyway, you fill out that form, and on there, there's a place for you to put the team that you're on, right? If you're on, it don't matter what team, Team Audio Frog, Team Mississippi, whatever your team name is. And if your team is a member of Base Wars, that membership costs more. It's like $250, okay? But if your team is a member of Base Wars, then every time you get points, that team gets points. And at the end of the year, we make a big, nice award for the team that's got the most points. There's different kinds of teams. There's local teams. That would be, let's just use Team Base Outlaws, for example, because they have lots of chapters everywhere. A local team would be, let's call it Hattiesburg, Mississippi Team Base Outlaws. So they would be a team or a local team. And then they would belong to Team Base Outlaws, which is a national team. Now, we do not have any global teams yet, but I went ahead and made provisions in preparation because as Base Wars spreads out across the world, I can only bet that there's going to be some people in the different countries that join the same team. I just believe that's going to happen. So that's kind of how we do our team thing. So if you compete in your own, you got to pick one. You can't be on a bunch of them. You can be on them. There's one that you're going to designate to me, and that's the one that's going to get your points. And those teams will compete against one another. At the end of the year, give a big, nice award to the team with the most points. So that's that aspect of the team thing. I explained world records, how to run for Base Wars. Can you repeat free reruns for your SPL test? You can. Awards. I remember I was here when I got stopped earlier. Your award's a little tag plate, but guess what? You have to be there to get it. We're not mailing it to you. I mean, we will, but you're going to pay for it, right? So you have to be present to pick up your award. We just can't mail them to everybody that goes to a car show and they leave early and they don't come back. And they reach out to me 3 weeks later. Man, I placed. I saw my name on the graphic. I placed. How do I get my award? Well, send me around 20, 25, whatever it takes to mail it, and I'll mail it to you. You know, but most of the time you just got to be present to pick up your award. Okay. The points, we talked about that. Another vehicle, yeah. We went through the blow-throughs, about that. Yeah. What's a stock cabin? Mic traps. We talked about that. Okay. I think that's pretty much everything. You can go look at this. This is on the web and read it a little more in depth. And then I do these podcasts, you know, how you say, fairly often. So if you want, you can chat again or call me or you know, whatever. But let me, I want to show you something else. Right now, this right here is our current website, okay? And so on the very front page, now this is all going to change pretty soon. I'm going to show you the change in just a minute. So this is our top 10s, right? And actually, it's a good thing that I have this right here. You see how, if you can see this, we have the same guy right here with two, his name is just spelled differently. And so he's taken up 2 spots on the top 10. But this is the top 10s of the members that we have in Base Wars, right? So that's on the homepage of basewars.org. So we also have, a lot of people don't realize, but here under this 2026 top 10s, we have a global top 10s. This is everybody, not including members. And I imagine that we would have a lot of double names on this because we don't, you know, for a lot of these are not actually members. So if you're not a member and you competed, you might be on here, right? This is all our top 10 scores for non-members. If you click the store right here, that just simply takes you to a Base Wars Square site that I have, where we sell some t-shirts and stuff, decals and stuff like that. Now, if my judges have the decals, you should get them from them, because I have tried every way I can, but I haven't figured out a way to mail these decals to you without, the decal costs $10 or $15. I don't even know. I don't remember. $10 right there. But the shipping costs that much. I mean, this little envelope right here, this is this is a couple dollars, and by the time you pay this post office if you put it in this, they charge you $8 or $9. Anyway, you're paying them twice the cost of decal. But if the judge has them, just buy them from the judge for $10, But anyway, so this is a Base Wars store. T-shirts and stuff on there. Not a big deal there. The guide, I went through that with you. Should you forget your member number? Bam, right here. Here it is. Now, I do show you all this, but the reality is this is going to change like within a couple of weeks and change drastically within a couple of months. Let's see. Here's our events. It's on the website. So you wonder if you got something coming up. Now, I know that personally, shame on me, haven't put some of these in here. But also, let me go to, bear with me 2 seconds, make sure I don't mess up. And I am going to go to, guess it helps if I actually type in the bar. That did work out. So let me go to, here we go. All right, this is the Base Wars page. All right. Now, oh, look, there we are. I just love seeing myself on the interweb. Okay, somewhere I have some graphics. That's events we made. Is there events coming up? I'm slacking. I can see right now. I do have some graphics to make. Judges, I'm sorry. I'll be doing those graphics in the morning. Okay, so here goes some. So this is a good example. After I run your show, I'll make graphics like this. This is on the Base Wars page on Facebook. So your name will be here, right? And your score and what you place and what class and all that stuff. So here's something I'd like to tell you. This is pretty important. These graphics take me a little time to make them. I don't like making them. But if your name is spelled wrong on that computer, when you're running, when you're looking at that name on that screen, if it's wrong there, it's going to be wrong here. It's easier to fix it with the judge than it is me to do artwork ×3, right? So almost if your name gets to this graphic spelled wrong, it's probably going to stay that way. I might go fix it on the top 10s and stuff, but it needs to be right when it gets to me. And I'll tell you another reason it needs to be right when it gets to me. So make sure your judge spells your name right. That's what I'm saying. Is look on that screen. It's got your name right there. Make sure it's spelled right. Just look at it. Make sure it's spelled right. If it ain't right, say, hey, man, we need to make this change. It's better to do it right then and there than it is later. And there's another reason for that. So I'm going to show you this now. If you compete with us now, you've not seen this, but this is something similar. It's going to be different. We're going to change colors and all that stuff. But so what do you mean I don't pay attention? I went all the way up. I drove 12 hours to come visit your butt. But let's see, finals in South Carolina. Let's see, should I miss anything? Fine Extreme Bill. It's got steel in it. and wood. Extreme build's got steel and wood. I'm just kidding. I will define it for you pretty soon, though. Anyway, I'll scroll through that looking for questions just a second. So here is something that we're working on. It's going to be out in a week or two. There's several stages coming, but I think the first stage to come out is going to be in approximately a month. Judges will have a login for them to log in, and they will just take their TermLab file and upload it or slide it into a little box, and boom, immediately everything is already there on the web. So if your name is spelled wrong, then it's going to be spelled wrong here too. So we're working on member numbers and all that stuff, but I imagine there's going to be some hiccups to start, but this is where it's going. And that's why it's imperative for you get the judge to fix your score instead of reaching out to me after they've done sent stuff to fix your score. So, so currently this is what this kind of looks like. This is the top score, say in each class that, you'll have here. And a lot of this is going to change. So I almost didn't want to show it to you, but here is the top 10s. Here's this is the top one in Assassin, top one in GOAT, top one in Deathmatch. Also, these will scroll, or you can click right here and click all standings, and bam, here's all your top 10s, right? And the first, second, and third ones are highlighted here. And then soon there will be an indication of if you are qualified or not for finals. And to each one of these. So each one of these is our top 10s. It's just listed a little easier for you to read, Our events, this is a demo type thing, but this is what our events page will look like. Members, once the judges, once the competitors have their own login and stuff, we won't have this page because it's just not anybody's business what Susan Kelly's member number is, other than her business, right? Or your judge's business. So this won't be displayed once you have your own logins, and that's coming soon. But yeah, so this is all just pretty much informative stuff, but the same thing we have now. It's just it don't have to load. I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but when I do this, it takes a minute for this to load, and so the website it won't. But the point is, all this data will be in there immediately when the judge uploads the file. So there's that. So that's kind of what we have coming. Now, far as I know, that is all I was going to talk to you guys about. So that is tonight's presentation. So are there any questions? And I'll scroll a little bit, but if you posted a question and I didn't see it, don't hesitate. Post it again right now. Yeah, I did that. I brought a storm like I haven't seen in a long time to South Carolina. Had a good time while I was there. I'm coming back. Let's see. What about Power Wheels build? I'm not sure what that question is. Let's see. Can we make decals locally? But what do we do about the price as far as base wars cut? So I don't mind sharing this. I hope the judges don't get mine, but man, I split everything even with my judges. So normally if I make the decals, I put what the cost was to them and the judges get them. And we split the profit even Steven. So, and basically, so Susan, if you make a decal and you sell it for base wars, you sell it for $10, whatever you sell it for, and it costs you $2 to make it, then we're splitting $8 profit. Send me 4, you get 4. If you get it from me, I spent $2 on it. We split the same way, same exact, except you would keep if you make it, you keep the profit, the money you made to make it. So in essence, you would get 6, I would get 4. Define extreme. Yeah, that's tough to do. and I'll get back to that in 2 seconds, but I want to define a wall for you, for us. I meant to do that earlier when I was going through the, you wonder, am I in a wall class or no wall class, right? So, so let me say this, and I'll tell you why, and I think it'll make sense for you to understand, all right, what a wall is for us. So a lot of orgs define a wall with a tape measure. If you're so and so far from the roof, if you're so and so far from the window, if you're so and so far over a back side glass or something like that. So, but that's not what we do. A wall in car audio is made to do a couple things. One, shrink the cabin, smaller area, higher pressure, right? And two, keep all the sound up in the front, hence smaller area, not floating around the back of the box and all that stuff. So it is possible that you got a box that goes all the way to the roof and it's not a wall. It might be possible that you had a box that goes all the way up, touches the roof, but there's big gaps on the side. Well, good for you. And you tried to make a wall, but you failed. You don't have a wall. What you got is a pillar. You're good because if you roll the car over, you're not going to squish you. But that ain't no wall when it comes to bass. So the judge will judge that, meaning, man, if you got this much room on each side of your box, he's probably not going to call it a wall. Okay. But if you got that much room, he's probably going to call it a wall, on the edge over there. So it's just the judges are going to judge that. And that's the reason that we don't define a wall, because I don't think you can do it with a tape measure, not for our purpose. And I try for our organization to be a common sense org geared towards what we do. I mean, I get it that if it's all the way to the roof, in some of these orgs, if it's all the way to the roof and it's that thick, that's considered a wall. I mean, if it's that wide, they would call that a wall. And a lot of them, if your amplifier is 1 inch into the cab, then it's a, extreme or this stuff don't make sense, man. And so I just really wanted Bass Wars to be a common sense for what we do, org. Who cares where your amp is? That amp being, even if it's on the dash, is that going to make you louder? It's just not. It don't matter where that amp is. It don't matter where that amp is. Just don't. So why would it be under a seat or poking, a half inch behind or in front of a B pillar? Why would that put you in a different class, man? I want my judges to use common sense. That's all I'm saying. So, so that's kind of the scoop on that. Is there, let's talk about the extreme builds. And everybody wants me to define extreme build. The reason I haven't defined the extreme build yet is because they're hard to define. And I'm working on a system to define them, meaning like if you got 1/2 inch plexi as a windshield, it'd be worth so many points, let's say. And if you got a raised floor, that's worth so many points. If you got a steel floor, that's so many points. And then we would add all these points up. And if you have above a certain number, then you'd be extreme. And that's what we're working on. And we're going to have that completed soon. But for now, double windshields. See, there's a lot of different factors that can make a build extreme. But I would say just because you have one double windshield, because you have one of those things, don't mean you're extreme. I would take it back to our old Fosgate friend, Michael Ramey. He had a pretty much a stock cabin, Nissan. I think his vehicle is a Nissan pickup. And his firewall broke. And he wound up, I think at first, he definitely plated up his windshield, right? But he had stock interior, door panels, stock, dash, stock. So I'm not taking this guy to extreme just because he got one attribute of an extreme vehicle. So an avalanche. So anyway, that's why it's hard to define an extreme. You're better off to just look at those and judge them. But we are working on a point system. I got some people that are more into that than I am, that know more, that I'm trying to get help with that. And when you ask for help, it just seems to take a little bit longer. Avalanche. Let's see here. What about an avalanche enclosure in the bed, port at the mid gate? That seems just kind of like a C-pillar build, or actually no wall. Depending on the height of that enclosure. Read the bed cuts. This is kind of what I think this would fall under right here. You can look in the rule book and read about the enclosure being higher or lower than the bed rails. Of course, in that it can't be no higher because it don't have a camper. So that's probably just a no wall. Let's see, wooden roof, center console allowed in the Beast class. Yes, they are allowed in the console, in there. Yep. I don't think one wood roof or one center console that's got speakers in it would put you in extreme. So that would be in the Beast class. Yep. Okay. C-pillar. My bad. Would inverted subs in a no-wall build where the box is behind the B-pillar? Yes, it would be. Even if those subs reached up to the ceiling, you still got all that area in between the basket and in between the subs is not filled. So, yeah. Yeah. And that's one of those common sense things I say that I don't want Bass Wars to mess up. Just because your speaker's inverted and it would be an inch over a window line doesn't mean that it's a freaking wall. Yeah. Resin floors probably just depends on how thick it is or how tall, how much, if you're building that floor up, then that's you might run towards extreme there. But if it's got carpet over it and stuff, I don't, that would not put you in extreme. And we talk a lot about extremes, but I want the new people here. If you're still here, I see we don't have as many people. We've been on for over 2 hours, which is really rare for me. But we don't have that many extreme builds. So these cases we're talking about, we are kind of nitpicking. We don't have that many. So not for the new people to really worry about. Well, probably this is going to be an extreme. And the only reason I say that, if you made that block off plate, that means the rest of your cabin is probably already blocked off also. Then yeah, that would probably throw you towards extreme. And I'm assuming, like I said, that the rest of the dash and stuff would be blocked off as well, or else why would you do that? And that's the reason I say what I just said. Yeah, I would like to. This is a good point that Greg makes. We're very, very much a laid back org. It's just for fun. We all know it's for fun, and we don't try to rule you to death. And by that, I mean we don't create a bunch of rules where it's no fun. And when you come up to our tent, we don't treat you like a butthole because, we can. We don't do that. We make you feel, hopefully all the judges make you feel welcome and at ease, even if you don't know what you're doing. Hey. All right. Well, have I appeased everyone? Is everybody good? Any other newbie questions that could be answered? And if I missed your question earlier and I didn't answer it, throw it out there again. And I'll try to answer it. All right. Well, yes, man. I'm excited. I hope so too. I'm excited about that. We're trying to get into Arkansas for the last year or two. Thought we had judges or two lined up. They wound up kind of falling through for us. We want Texas too. If anybody would be interested, we're looking for somebody in Texas too. So, is a waveguide legal in Base Wars? You got to educate me a little bit. Waveguide, I'm not sure what you mean. Yeah, I'm trying to come up with those numbers. I don't want to just say if you have a double windshield, you're extreme. I don't want to say if you got a wood seat or you got a wood roof because you split, you're extreme. So I'm trying to come up with some good numbers to put on each one of those attributes to, so we can calculate whether you be extreme or not. If you just got one thing, I just hate to throw you into an extreme class, but but if you got several of those things, then no problem, Hey, yeah. A piece of wood that bolts to the center console that doesn't go higher than the dash. So yeah, that would not be yeah, that would not be in the beast class. That would put you in a different class. And actually we ain't had that before. We had a little problem with console boxes. And I'd even have to, it's been so long since we had to look at one of those. I'd have to go back and see what I decided to do with a console box as far as a class goes, because that goes in front of the B pillar. I'll have to revisit that for you. And I will. I just don't remember what we decided to do with them. We had a console class that would have fit in, but we just didn't have enough participation to warrant it taking a spot on the term lab for us. Yeah. So currently that would probably not be in Beast, be allowed in Beast. Where we'd put it, I don't know, but we'd find somewhere. You got to remind me which Hot Wheels. I don't recall. I don't recall those. Hey, Bobby. I'm trying to remember which Hot Wheel. Yeah, if a double windshield in monster class, I would be okay with that. Yeah, I mean that's just one thing. That's just one thing, and not only that is it just one thing. I know it's a big thing. Don't get me wrong, but man, anything to help a competitor not have to keep spending money on windshields, to help keep money in the to help keep money in the competitor's pocket, I'm down for that. Yes. Okay. So I know what she's talking about now. Let's see. And the question was, how would the Hot Wheels build you saw always be classified? That thing would just be a wall build. Y'all, there's a F-150's work truck, but actually, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I think that'd just be a regular wall build. But yeah, It was so cool. I have a photo of it. I don't have it to where I can show you guys, but it's really neatly themed and very awesomely built F-150. Sounded amazing and really unique build and decoration on the inside. I think it was a fourth order in the back seat of a F-150, if I remember right. But or a band pass to be technically correct. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If we have more than one thing, then that's why I want to put numbers on each one of these attributes. So we don't have to wonder. You would say, oh, I got this, that's 20 points. I got this, and when it's all said and done, you'd be over 50 points or over 60 points, whatever we define, over these points, you're extreme. And that's the goal. That's what I'm trying to come up with. All right, fellas. Well, I appreciate y'all tapping in with me tonight. What would a Ford Ranger with a box on the back seat be? No wall. No wall. You can, no problem. You can even throw some speakers in it. If it's subwoofers and you're using those, okay, and this is where common sense comes in. If you got an 8 in there you're going to be using for mid bass, we don't care. If you have 818s in your ride and you got an 8 in a console, then we don't care. But if you have an 8 in your console and that is it, that's probably just going to go in the no wall class, you know. And I'll tell you what wound up making us get ornery about this is we had a guy. I mean, not that he's doing anything wrong, but he built a box for a 15 or an 18, sat it on his front seat, and that box was an inch from the dash. And the sensor was right there on the windshield. So he was really, you know, beating the crap out of everybody, even though he didn't have a bigger build than everybody. He just did that way. So that's why we wound up doing something different with those consoles. But for this case, it would be in just a no wall build. You're right, Bobby. I have that thing. I should play a video and go pick it up, but I'm not. But I have that. Need that. You need that. Yeah, I like y'all. The Hot Wheel truck they're talking about is themed Hot Wheels, and that's one of the better sounding vehicles I have heard in a long time. That thing, you could feel it from 20 feet away. It felt good, sounded good. It was awesome. Stock blow through, then that would be. So for us, if that blow through, if that sub enclosure is lower than the bed rails, it's a no wall. If it's higher than the bed rails, it's a wall. Yes, sir. I'm proud that y'all came. Proud that y'all watched it with me, or was here with me. Assume we're talking about this console, and if we are, yeah, if it's console, just to brace the roof, I think of that no differently than stripper pole, and that doesn't really have an effect on our classification. So it would depend on the rest of the build as to what class that would go in. I'm glad you like it. That's what I wanted to do. Just kind of give you guys a good. Mainly, I was thinking for the new guys, you know, but it's okay that everybody that already knows is here and can ask questions too. But we do have lots of new people in the last few weeks that I felt it warranted to do this live stream. And so I wanted to put their mind at ease about competing with Base Wars. Yes, sir. No problem. Happy to do it. Thank you. Yes, sir. Yeah. I don't know about this one. Speakers hanging out the window. This might be what we was talking about, the Demo Wars. Yeah, things are way different now, man. So back then we didn't see people. Well, actually, back then when we competed, you actually had to play music, and you got judged on your build, looks, sound quality, a lot of different things, and SPL. Nowadays, and I used to kind of hate what we have now, but the reality is, back then, yeah, it did tear our vehicles up a little bit, but not like today. So I used to think, man, why don't you make your stuff pretty? At least it's a car show, make it look good. And it didn't take but a year or two in for me to realize that it don't matter if they make it look good, they're going to tear them up. And so it's one thing to spend a year on a build and have it look good and you can enjoy it for a long time. But when you spend a year on a build making it look good, because pretty is what is hard to that's what takes the time. But if you spend a year on a build and a month later your bondo's cracked or your panel's broke, it's just changed a lot. So I get you there. Now, Greg Kelly right here has got a C pillar, it's pretty loud, 60 plus. His looks nice and it's clean. Jimmy Pittman, our Jimmy Pittman's got one. His is it looks clean and it's nice. But I don't know about the Johnson fellas. I do know who you're talking about, I believe, but I don't know if I've seen. And I don't know if I've seen it, but I think I have. And you're right, he's got all over. He's going for the Demo Wars, Douglas Johnson, that is, and yeah. Yeah, okay. This is I remember, is it black and pink or black and green? I can't remember. I remember it. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I saw Wendell's truck. I'm proud it made it. I thought it was going to float away. Yeah, I remember that one. I remember that sounded good. Well, all right, folks. I appreciate you guys tuning in with me. I hate that it was 2.5 hours long. That is just not normal for me. I thought I could do this quicker, but I didn't. I am going to have another live stream myself. Me and some of the other judges do them. There'll be some more of those for sure, but I'm going to have another one coming soon with the website, with the new website. You guys will have to create a your own login and password, and you'll create a profile. If yeah. Oh no. Yes. No. I remember. Yes, I remember this. Yeah. But so we'll do another one on the new website. But we got one coming to where you'll create a profile. You will upload the type of build. You'll answer some questions about your build. It will tell you which classes you can enter in. It'll tell you if you're qualified yet or not. It'll tell you a lot of things that people have been asking me for a long time. But there's a lot more to it coming that's got to do with the Team Wars, and that is the part that has taken so long. But we're real close. I'd say within a month. The Smoky Mountain Jamming Show, I believe, is the one that we're gonna, that weekend we will be having. I think that's the weekend we've chosen. We'll probably do it ahead of time, maybe, but that weekend is where we're gonna go with the new website, the new the create your profile, all that kind of stuff. Now the judges might do it a little before that, but that's the weekend we plan to launch that site, I believe. So anyway, yep, Doug, I'm not far from you myself, sir, but I have talked so much tonight that my voice is my throat is hurt. So I'm gonna let you guys have it. Thank you for being here with us. I'm gonna play a video, outro video they call it, and once again, appreciate you guys. If I can answer any more questions, you just reach out to me either on Facebook, wherever you want, phone, text, don't matter. Just reach out to me and I'll answer them the best way I can. And if we need, we'll do another one of these to shape up on some of this stuff. But the next thing I think that I will do by myself will be probably talk about the Team Wars and the new website, stuff like that. So, yep. It'll see you, won't be too long. I might even come up tonight early so I don't have to get up early in the morning. But all right, well, look, you guys have a good time. We'll see you soon.